Okay, hello everyone, and we're going to take you through ballistic video number 2, which is going to be the rebuild of a ballistic image. So we've gone out and we've done the rapid extraction of our suspect machine, be that in the lab, be that as a first responder, and be that as commercial going into a premises and wanting to rapidly extract the machines on site without shutting the business down for too long, whatever it is. We now have in my case here, I have 3 drives with each one having part of that image on. So we're able to get these ridiculously fast imaging speeds with the patented technology of ballistic, of course, by splitting the image out from the suspect machine across the multiple ports that are on it. We are not limited to the amount of ports. If it has 7 ports and you want to put 7 devices in and it's a quick enough machine to utilize the throughput of each of those ports, then you can do that. 3 is a nice manageable number though. So I'm going to obviously start my Detego Analyze. So this brought up my main Detego Analyze software. So this is, again, there was a different video on this, but this is the main analytical software and the licensing software for our Detego products. This is the command and control center for all that we do. So just as a very quick reminder, I built my Detego field stick in here, which I put my ballistic rapid imager on. I have the area where all of my cases go. Again, in Detego, it's quite cool. It doesn't matter if it's an iPhone, an Android, a thumbstick, a Mac, a Windows. It all goes into this one location for me so I can do my analysis, and there'll be a video on the link analysis across all those devices later on. We can also import from UFED, CIFID, and third-party image tools as well if you like our powerful analytics and want to use those on previous or new cases. Over here we've got all the loose media, so if I find SSDs, thumbsticks, hard drives, SD cards, etc., including our advanced mobile phone extraction technology in here, which can do things like unlocking Galaxy S7s and things like this. Again, another video. So right now, what am I interested in? I'm interested in rebuilding this ballistic image. So I have my 3 collectors. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start inserting them into my my machine. So that could be, if I'm a first responder forward deployed, a small 13-inch razor is what I use. It's really powerful. Actually, I tend to use that for my digital investigation piece as well. In this case, I'm on a 15-inch MSI. But if you were back at the lab, you could have it on your main lab system as well. You serve it there. There's no issues with that. So I'm plugging the first one in, and we can see straight away actually that this was my master stick. So if you remember back to our licensing, we can take any USB stick out of your kit. You can plug it into your master system and license it with our software. It takes a license from the main Detego piece, which is sat under this, the field box, and it puts that onto this stick for you to enable you to go forward. So actually, if I wanted to, I could just go to the locations of extraction with just, a couple of thumbsticks. I don't need my full machine. Of course, having your full machine gives you much greater flexibility there. So I can see in here, we've got our covert booking page. We've got our configuration. If I just wanted to do what I did last time, that's in there, all those kind of areas. So we're happy there. You can also see the field extractions, which contains the ballistic image that we took from the suspect machine. So I'm happy that Windows has recognized that. Detego is smart. So as soon as I plug that in, I don't need to point to it or open up a directory and say, go to this drive, find this ballistic image and start to do the rebuild. Detego will do all the hard work for you. So again, I'm just going to continually start to insert. I've inserted my second drive, and I'm going to click. You can see again, Windows has got it. This is a slave, right? Because it doesn't have all the forensic software on there for us to go and do the kind of extractions. Just has this little index file, remember, which lets it go through the forensic environment in the boot environment, and also tells the master, the main Detego drive that has the software on, that this is a slave and it may be used to speed up the extractions and use the throughput of the port that it is attached to. So again, that's Windows recognizing it. So I'm just going to close that off. I'm going to click Rebuild Image so you can see what's going on here. Again, Detego is pretty cool. It helps you out. It's saying, ballistic, you have 2 parts of 3. I have a part missing. It's telling me it's not got all the drives that have the full image on. This is also important for your forensic integrity, obviously. And there's a full audit trail and the forensic management piece attached to the system as well. If for some reason I had lost, so I've got 1 of 3 and 3 of 3. If I'd lost my device 2 of 3, it's not game over for you. Detego lets you rebuild that image and lets you still exploit or extract data from that. Clearly at that point, you do not have a full forensic image. You've only got the 2 reconstituted parts to work from. But it's definitely a great option for those of you that maybe work in areas that are slightly more high risk or whatever. But for a lot of us, that's so I'm just going to plug in my final drive here. Wait for Windows to recognize it. And once it's done that, again, just the same as before, I'm going to close it off. So now we've got 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. Great, no worries. I can look up here, it's telling me all 3 parts are present. I'm happy to rebuild, but we'll just look at a couple of things. It's asking me here in red, do you want to import a field extraction? Well, I haven't done a field extraction in this case. It will create a case for me for my ballistic rebuild. If I want to edit the metadata of my case and areas like that, I can do that, bringing it in. Right now, it's going to rebuild, it's going to reconstitute that image to a flat DD. Remember, on extraction, we hold you to a DD image so that if for some reason let's say you're going in on an ICAT case and it's extraction by consent, which happens in a lot of places, and part of the way through the suspect decides, do you know what, actually I'm withdrawing my consent. You're 200 gigs into a 0.5 terabyte drive. At that point, legally, you may have to stop your extraction and look for going back to a judge to come back to now get a warrant that enables you to take that data without consent. In this case, because you've been taking it in a DD image with ballistic, we could still have that 200 gigs of data and we could still analyze that. Unlike a lot of other tools out there, it does not corrupt. It will let you rebuild and work on that data. Of course, we can also rebuild to an EO1. So if you do have tools that you're comfortable with or other agencies or groups you want to export that image out to, although we get those super rapid speeds of ballistic, it's not some strange proprietary format, and we rebuild it to an EO1 or ADD. So it can go into other systems and agencies and areas like that once you've reconstituted this image together. And of course, you can do it so that it has your full forensic verified hash matching, and that is all within the audit trail as well. So let's click rebuild. You can see automatically it's created a case for me, 3rd of April, which is today. I'm obviously in the UK here. And you can see it's starting to rebuild this ballistic image for me. You can see it up here. It's 2.8, 3.2% in. But what's interesting here as well, again, there'll be another video on this, but I do not have, I'm on an MSI here. It's 400 gig. If you look at if you actually look at my drive, it is rammed. I think I've got like 10 gig of space left. So I need to do a bit of admin cleanup at some point. But again, Detego's pretty good. It gives me multiple storage options. There'll be another lesson on this, but you can see my C drive is rammed. So if I was trying to rebuild, it's only a small laptop, a 128 Dell laptop that I'm rebuilding here for demo purposes. But even so, that's obviously clearly not going to fit on my C drive. So all I've done is I've attached another drive and I've put a little tag on that. I've registered it here to Detego, and it's given me a whole new set of storage. I can do that as many times as I like. So I can take quite often a lot of our users will take a 2 terabyte drive. If they're first responders, they'll put a bit of Velcro on the back of their screen of the laptop. They'll put Velcro on that 2 terabyte drive, slap that on. They'll have a Thunderbolt connector or a USB 3 connector and just plug that in for their cases, keep all their cases on that. Some of our discrete users will use that so that their physical machine stays clean of the cases and they can hand those back. You can also map it over a network drive if you need, and so on. So let's go back into our cases. I'm going to come in here and you can see this is where it's going to put the physical image. Because remember, at the moment, what have we done? We've gone onto scene or whatever we've been doing. We've plugged in multiple devices. So a master Detego, the brain of what's happening, and a couple of slaves. And we've clicked, I would like a physical image. We've done it in the basic format, so plug and play. Thumbstick in, SSD in, whatever, click image, go. That's it. It's then pulled that rapid image for us. We've then taken our devices out. We've then now come back to our master system. You can actually do that wherever, clearly, just wherever your laptop is, or in your lab on your main system. We've plugged those devices in. So what it's doing now is reconstituting, it's rebuilding that full forensic image of that laptop. That's all the logical, all the unallocated space, etc. It's a bit for bit, absolute forensic copy. This is where it's putting it. So at that point, you're not seeing any actionable data, really. It is, like we say, just rebuilding this main drive. So you can see here the kind of where I'm sat. I'm 35 gig now, rebuilt. It's all automated, so it's quite easy. I can plug it in, click, 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 go make a cup of tea, come back and start working on that image. We've actually got a full set of advanced pieces in here that can do all the analytics for you as well, automated to a profile that you wish. But we can look at that on another video. So right now, if I just look through, you can see that it's been running for 3 minutes, 22 seconds, and it believes there's about 6 minutes left. It took me about 5 minutes to image the machine. It was an much older Dell. I only used 3 devices, which is a good number to normally get quite a decent speed. I think I was getting around 400 a second. So you can see here your kind of standard rebuild times, if you like. So I'm going to leave that to complete. And then once that is complete, I'll come back to you and we can look at what the full extraction looks like. Okay, we're back. So as you can see now, the ballistic image that was part of the way through rebuilding has finished. So it's reconstituted that image, it's rebuilt 3 parts of the ballistic image, it's averaging out there, and it rebuilt that in just under 10 minutes. It took me about 5 minutes to extract, so about double the time, but obviously you're now in your less stressful environment, either in your lab or reconstituting that for your further analysis. So you can see here I've got my case that it's created for me. I can just quickly rename that. I'm going to keep the date time stamp in. Okay, and I can do that to my actual exhibit as well, which is the physical kind of piece. If I go to my exhibit contents, you can see here, this is where it's holding that drive. It has some of the further forensic data in there if I require that. And of course, we have our audit log. You can see here, just from that, we have 49 entries and 5 pages. So going from starting the ballistic through to all the things that you asked it to do, and then to where it has completed rebuilding the ballistic image. In this case, I haven't asked for a forensic verification, but you can do that if you ran one of your hash algorithms against it, no issues. So that is it. At that point, we have now rebuilt. So just as a quick recap, we licensed out our Detego Ballistic from our home in our master system on our Detego software. From the field area here, we created a new field device. You've got another video for this. We could select the types of extractions we want, from the triage through to the rapid imager, or all on the one device, including the boot stick. We've then gone to the suspect machine, plugged our multiple devices in our master Detego and our slaves, the drives that are going to help speed up taking that image, patented. We've ripped out that image in speeds. So far to date, the record is 1 terabyte in 7 minutes, 40 something seconds, under 8 minutes anyway. If you think that you've beaten that, then please hold the log file, send us that to us, and we will most definitely give you a prize. So again, the ballistic is future-proofed. As data ports get faster and drives and machines get faster, Clearly, we've demonstrated by that the ability for Detego to keep up with that, Detego Ballistic to keep up with that, is fine. So that's it for me now. We're going to move on to video 3, which is going to be how do I get that data out of my rebuilt image. And just as a teaser for you, it's very simple. It's click extract. Ask it for what you want, the logical or the unallocated or both, and it will do it for you. You can actually even queue up a whole lab job queue across multiple different images or devices to then run through all your forensic processes in the manner that you would normally investigate. And you as an investigator have the flexibility to set that. But again, that is another video. So thanks for your time, and I'll see you on video 3.